I wanted to walk you through a common exercise that I see and actually happens to be one of my favorite. This is gonna be a Pavlov press. I found the best place to start is usually with this blue, or our 0.05 inertial load. We call this our hypertrophy or our hybrid flywheel. This is in between that higher force, which we see in the red, or some of the smaller flywheels that we are more velocity dominant or rehab dominant. This is always a great place to start, again, because it's kind of in the middle. You get a mix of both high force or high velocity. This will allow your user to play around with both. It's also great to start because you can achieve pretty much every exercise that you want with this blue. Always start with the blue, play around with your exercise, get comfortable with how to set it up, and then as you get more and more comfortable with this, then you can start to vary those different flywheels. So I like to use the handle up top here, and then on the back there's a little tab, and that way I can easily adjust this slider to wherever I see fit. That might be a little bit low, might take it up just one more notch. In order to get started here, with any movement, but specifically this movement, I wanna find the end range, wherever I wanna finish my rep. So I'm standing here, just pull the rope all the way out, making sure that nothing is wrapped around the inside here. Once you can see that the rope is pulled straight out, you're gonna take that rope clamp and adjust it accordingly. With my thumb on the top, pressing onto that rubber bit, my fingers behind on the piece of black at the back, I'm gonna open a little bit of a slit in between these two red rectangles and pull the rope through. Now, if I'm doing this by myself, I'm gonna try and find the end of the range of motion the best that I can. So let's say that I wanna finish the rep here. I'm gonna let go of that clamp, head back over to this RackFly, and in order to get this thing started, I'm gonna spin our flywheel. Now, as we're getting started here, and before I start this movement, one thing to take into consideration is figuring out how many warm-up reps you wanna do. I found that usually 4 is the best. The first 2 I just take to get used to it, and then the next 2 I start increasing velocity or force depending on the movement. Just getting in a nice easy groove here, allowing for that rope to get smooth, winding around the inside. This is rep number 3 of my warm-up, and then rep number 4, and now I'm into this movement here. Throughout this movement, there's a couple of different ways that we can look at this, not only from a programming stance, but an adaptation stance. Every single rep can change based on you as the user. We call this user-defined. I can go for a really heavy, high force movement. I can think about a slow eccentric movement, fast eccentric, or even more velocity. When first starting to use our RackFly, there's a couple of things to take into consideration. One of those is being on how to stop or walk away from our unit. So here with a simple row exercise, as I get this flywheel going, when I want to finish that rep, whatever concentric movement I apply then replicates back into the eccentric. So the best way to stop our unit is back down in the eccentric. And then you can hang this up or drop it down whenever you're done. Another way to get started on the RackFly is picking 3 exercises. With those 3 exercises, don't get too crazy in depth with programming, just get comfortable with those 3 exercises on our RackFly. As you're looking to get into more in-depth and higher force movements, that's where you can start to load even 1 red, 2 reds, or all the way up to 10 red flywheels on our unit.